Hey guys, I'm here at Gamescom 2015 and I got to check out Resident Evil VR. That's Resident Evil 7 Biohazard VR. So what I got to see was actually the demo that's out right now for PlayStation Plus users. It's the exact same game, it's just done in VR, and if the entire game is going to be like that, we're going to have a huge problem. See, first of all, the game works in a way that like the control stick walks you around, but you expect your headset, like your head, to be the analog stick, the looking around stick, but it isn't. The analog stick it still uses like it doesn't use up and down. It uses left and right to look left and right, but you can still turn with your head. So that first off, that's really disorienting. Second off, when you turn left with the stick and then right with your head, you kind of get fucking dizzy as all hell. So that's not a good start, but after all, you get used to it. The biggest problem of this game is that, ooh boy, it physically made me ill. And I've used VR quite a bit. I don't own a VR system, but I've used it at demonstrations and presentations and all that stuff quite a bit. I know how it feels. I know how it can feel at its best. I know how it can feel at its worst. And Resident Evil 7 falls in the worst category. See, there's this thing going on with in the background. When you're looking far off in the distance of the mansion you're in, the house, everything gets kind of like, how would I describe it? Kind of like anti-aliasing. Everything gets kind of pixely, and when you turn your head, it starts to kind of jitter, and it seriously makes you sick as hell. Like, it's hard. It's really hard to play that game for like a long time. I had to play the game for 15 minutes, and when the person on the person in control of the booth came at me and tapped my shoulder and told me, yeah, the demo's over, you have to quit, I was never that happy to quit a demo in a game ever. It seriously made me ill. When I removed the headset, I was really happy. Another thing that happened was, so I was walking around, I find the oven, which I open, and there's a dead raven in it, and it's like, oh, that's fucked up. I'm gonna try and put my head in that oven. So I start to lean forward, but the camera just registers, like the game just registers you leaning forward for like a few centimeters, a few inches. So as soon as you start leaning forward, it's gonna say out of play zone, and while you still move forward, the camera goes backwards. And it fucks you up really hard. You get really dizzy. You're like, whoa. If you weren't sitting down, you'd probably fall on your ass. That being said, again, VR. Still kind of. I'm not a skeptic of the system of the tech. I know it works, but again, it demonstrates VR well. When you're walking around in this mansion, even though you get kind of a headache and you get kind of nauseous, if you're looking at a dead cow carcass lying right next to you, you go, oh man, that's fucked up, and you really feel like you're in that area. It's just like, oh god, like the area itself makes you sick, and not in a horror kind of way, not in a spooky kind of way. You just get sick because the technology behind it wasn't used that well. But again, like everything, like you see the zombie walking around, it's legitimately frightening. You really feel like you're there, but yeah, that's just basically what I want to say about it. It's you feel like you're there, but you get nauseous because because of the graphical hiccups. I can't imagine if this game runs the way it does now for the entire game. I can't imagine anyone wanting to play it in VR. They still have quite some time to fix it, but I don't know, like, it looks like a grave problem, like a serious problem to fix. Another thing about the PlayStation VR, and that's something you'll notice when you're in a convention, those headsets, while they're kind of comfortable, like while they sit good on your head, it gets hot, like seriously hot. I was sweating underneath that thing, and oof, when I removed it, it's just like, ugh. That wasn't fun. So it's almost like you'd say, don't wear this headset during hot days in summer, which is kind of weird. Like, I've never known a peripheral or a game system that actually requires you to not use it at hot days, because that was rough. That wasn't like, ugh. Also, just like, of course, they cleaned the headset, but if you're like, if you do play it with your friends, or your friends is this kind of eye infection thing or something you don't know about, and that's not that pleasant, you might get infected by that stuff. So you better watch out what you're doing. Like, clean the headset enough. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about Resident Evil 7 VR. The VR tech is impressive. It still works when you're in the environments and you see stuff that's disturbing. You feel disturbed and you really feel like you're in that area. But as soon as you start looking around and the graphical errors start, the graphical hitches start showing up, you get nauseous, like literally nauseous. If I continue playing, I'd probably have thrown up. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about Resident Evil 7 VR. The VR works, Resident Evil 7 in VR does not, sadly. Let's hope they fix it, and I'll see you guys next time.
Tell